Thank you. There we go. You probably can't hear me, but another half done and dusted. Pretty amazing here at the MCG. I'm surprised my leg didn't play up, but I had to stop a few times just to walk it off as I was starting to feel it, and I was playing with my mind mentally, but I think all in all I can't complain. Looks like I bet my time, so whew. Alright, let's see how we went.
Good morning, and it's an absolutely beautiful morning. It is just before 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a top of 26-28 this morning today, and just going to get out here and give you a recap on my half marathon at the Melbourne Marathon. Sorry, I am a bit under the weather. I do apologise for that husky voice. Anyway, let's get out. Let's do it. Let's go. So, after finishing my my third half marathon, the Melbourne Marathon half marathon, it was exciting, and is probably even more overwhelming than finishing my first one a couple of months back. And looking back now, there's a couple of things I want to walk you through and talk about, just to, I guess, recap, but also talk about some of the lessons learned, and yeah, just my experience and some of the key takeaways from this event. Look, even now, when I'm filming this, we're at the second half of November now, and it's been a good month, and I'm still on a runner's high from that half marathon. So there was goods, there was bads, there was a whole lot in between. But I'm gonna go on this run, I'm gonna share with you a bit about that, so let's do it. So next, I want to talk about game plan. And after doing the first two, there was a lot of lessons learned about hydration, about, going off too fast, or, making sure when I push into the speed that I'm doing it at the right time. And there was a lot of lessons learned back in the previous two, but in this one, I had a bit of a game plan, and let me take you through it. So initially, I had planned to get out there to do a PB. Now, originally, I wanted to do a sub 2, but because of my knee situation, I knew that was off the table, but I figured I could still get out there, give it a pretty solid go, and beat my previous PB. And that was the goal. At the same time, I knew that I needed to adjust and to be flexible when it came to the actual race day, especially due to the heat, but also because I didn't know how the knee was going to go. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any too high of expectations, so I wasn't obviously going to be disappointed. So I kicked off the race pretty strong, and that was the plan anyway. I wanted to maintain a pretty solid pace from the start, at least for the first half, to enable me to have that flexibility at the end, so that when it came to the hydration stations, that I was able to walk through, rest the knee, and continue going. And that's exactly what I did. Every time I did stop before the 10K, but basically after 10K, I was able to use those hydration stations just to ease off, to get the stress off the knee, as it didn't flare up, but I could definitely feel something happening. So I was a bit nervous about that. So being able to do that was definitely a key thing, which I'm so happy I did. So taking advantage of this meant I was keeping the knee safe, I was hydrating well, and I was getting enough energy back to be able to get back out there, push through the heat, because it was about 27, 28 degrees. And it was just blue sky, so it was quite a tough session getting out there. But the key thing was I was able to, put these behind me, use them as an advantage, and then get back out there and continue going. And that's what I did. It worked well. Right, next up is mental game, but I'll continue on first. Let's go. So next up was the mental game, and look, by the time I'd passed halfway, that's when it really kicks in. It always does, just because for 10Ks I've done numerous times, but anything past 10, it's only really been for training, it hasn't been for fun. So there is always this mental thing in my mind knowing that it's going to get tough, and the key here was just to keep moving, and it was by 15. So yeah, after halfway, that's when the struggle started to start. But after 15K, that was when Struggle Town began. Like that was the tough moments, and each K after that was progressively worse. But I was able to push through, and I think the key thing here was I had to keep moving, and I did. And whether that was, you know, setting a goal on the next hydration station or to the next, whatever it may be, the next kilometer, and then walking for, you know, a minute or something, then getting back out there. And that really did help. It's probably a combination of the speed I was doing at the start, but also the heat I was not used to. And it was probably also, I was thinking about the knee, thinking, oh, you know, is it going to go? Is it going to go? So having that in the back of my mind, I was being reluctant and probably using it as an excuse as well. Doing this solo without Carla was also a challenge, not having someone next to you to spur you on. I mean, you've got everyone around you, but it's a lot different. And my focus here was the music that I had set out in my playlist for this run. And I knew there was going to be some tough points, so I had some key music once again, and I had put it strategically, knowing of where I roughly would be, but also I was able to just jump to the track if I needed to. At the end of the day, it was these set songs that was able to spike in that extra momentum. They had some extra motivation and the energy to keep pushing forward. And I'll talk about that a bit more in the next section, which are the finishing moments. So it was such a good ending. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's do this, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, next up is the finishing moments. Now, as I started to get closer to, just let me catch my breath. So as I started to get closer to the finish, I knew I wanted to save as much energy as possible to be able to do that final sprint and that final push to the finish line. Now, this is where it all came together, was the combination of hydrating, the combination of, you know, pushing through, saving some energy, but most of all, sticking to my theme music. And it might sound a little weird or a little funny, but I had planned the song I wanted to finish the race with, and I had been training to that. I had been using that to envision how I wanted this run to go. And it's, if you watch the video, it's the final couple of minutes there, running into the complex, into the stadium, MCG. That was the song, and that's exactly how it finished, with that big bang. So there was a big roller coaster of emotions going through that, and then knowing that I had already finished beating my PB was even better, because coming into that MCG, I knew I was ahead of schedule than my previous PB. Obviously I didn't get the sub 2, but I was still very pleased with how I went. So I think all in all, of the 3 races, this was, it might have been the most challenging one, but it was definitely the one where I was able to apply the knowledge I had learnt in the other 2. So overall, it was probably the best. Of course, I got my PB, so I'm going to love it more and more. But that finish in the stadium, whew, absolutely spectacular. The footage doesn't do it justice. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. I'm going to head home, hopefully with a smile on my face, and I'll wrap this up down there. Let's do it, let's do it. There we go. All right, so to finish it up, obviously, if you haven't seen the video and if you weren't paying attention at the start, got my PB, finishing the race at 2:04:56, beating it by almost 3 minutes. Pretty solid stuff, pretty happy with that. I'm still going to aim for that sub 2 as well, but I'm pretty stoked. So what's next? What now? Since doing that third half marathon and being my best one for the last month, I've still been having knee injuries. I've been to the physio numerous times, being able to get out and do some runs, but nothing of the longer distance at the moment, just doing short and sharp. But I'm on a program at the moment to rebuild the strength and to do some conditioning there. So it's a progress. You'll start to see some more videos, because right now I'm filming this in the future, but the videos that will be released after this will be in the past. So you'll see a build up to now. Today is the 18th of November, so you can see how different it is. It's basically a month since the half marathon, so I'm still a month behind in my videos. But look, it's a journey. There's some exciting things to be there. I've got some amazing goals and some amazing things coming up for next year. I won't share them exactly just yet, but just hold on, All right, so that's the Melbourne Marathon, half marathon for 2018. Pretty stoked, pretty happy. Let me know what you think. I appreciate all the support, all the encouragement along this trip, along this journey. For the last 3 half marathons, I've had a lot of you guys just out there cheering me on from the comments and just dropping me some messages and whatnot. It's been really helpful. As fellow runners, you all know how it is when you're training, when you're going for goals, and when things don't go always as planned, or when they do go as planned. It's a roller coaster of emotions, and I'm just so happy to be done now. But also I'm excited for what's next. Just before I finish, even going in to that MCG and thinking about it now, I've been doing runs around here, and if you check out all my runs, check it out on my Instagram or on my Strava since the 14th of October, a lot of those runs have been some of my fastest runs for a very long time. So I'm still on that runner's high. Even today I've just smashed out probably a 4:50 pace for 4.5k, so it is really doing wonders. I've just got to not get ahead of myself. But anyway, that's it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle. And here's a sneak peek to the next episode.